The courtyard and towers of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre mark the site of the most sacred location in Christianity. It is a place where a visitor would naturally expect to find a spirit of perfect harmony. But resting against an upper stone window is a plain wooden ladder. It was left on this balcony sometime before the mid-19th century. Because of the rigid rules governing this space, it hasn't moved since. Inside, a massive stone wall immediately blocks the main view of the sanctuary. Even the time is off. The clocks here display an hour that doesn't match the world outside. These anomalies are not accidents. They are the visible symptoms of a deeply divided, utterly frozen religious ecosystem. 6 distinct Christian sects claim ownership of this building: the Greek Orthodox, Catholic, Armenian, Coptic, Syriac, and Ethiopian. For centuries, these groups engaged in physical brawls over territory. The violence became so disruptive that in 1852, the Ottoman Empire issued a decree freezing all property rights exactly as they stood at that moment. This policy, known as the status quo, relies on hyper-specific architectural maps, like this one, to enforce a fragile peace. By locking every square inch to whoever happened to be cleaning or praying there in the 1850s, the status quo turned a holy sanctuary into the world's most complex and contested real estate grid. This treaty splits the church far beyond simple rooms or hallways, carving through individual architectural features. In one instance, a single structural column is legally divided exactly in half. One vertical side belongs to the Armenians, and the other belongs to the Orthodox. Just behind the central tomb, the Coptic chapel occupies a tiny, isolated footprint, entirely surrounded by Orthodox territory. This geography is so restrictive that in the 1920s, Franciscans delivering lunchboxes to their monks had to negotiate a specific route to avoid walking through an active Coptic service area. Daily life for the monks is a walk through an invisible, claustrophobic minefield where a single misplaced step violates an international treaty. The standoff even extends into the air. These decorative lamps hang from the walls in the shared rotunda, but their presence is a point of legal contention. If the floor is shared but the wall is orthodox, it creates a paradox. Who legally owns the empty airspace where the lamp hangs? The same rigidity applies to the clock. The church refuses to adopt daylight saving time because the concept didn't exist in the 1850s, meaning all summer ceremonies run an hour late. Historical lockouts have even left marks on the architecture. Orthodox tradition holds that when a patriarch was once barred from the building, a holy fire burst from this entrance column and cracked the stone. This gridlock has modern consequences. There is no emergency exit in the building because no sect is willing to cede the wall space required to build one. You can see white metal barriers surrounding the central edicule, the structure over the tomb. The factions only allowed this restoration after external authorities threatened to shut down the entire building for safety reasons. The status quo is a system that prioritizes an absolute territorial stalemate over logical function or human convenience. Today, the site is a chaotic reality. Modern pilgrims leave their own marks on the ancient stone, adding layers of handwritten names and dates to the walls. Despite the pettiness and the suffocating gridlock, the status quo functions every single day. Maintaining this requires a constant psychological effort from the monks and brothers. They signed up for a life of spiritual devotion, not to serve as border guards in an ongoing territorial standoff. To keep the peace, the sects rely on external forces, including Muslim keyholders and Israeli police, to provide objective enforcement of these fragile boundaries. The church endures as a monument of ancient stone, and the messy, frustrating human compromise required to share the unshareable.